the Millionaire Imprint for Women. This empowering radio show is about imprinting wealth for women, inspiring women of all ages to heal their karmic debts, to transcend the shame of poverty consciousness that women have lived with for centuries. It's time for women, for you to have a new relationship with money, to be smart with your money, to invest, to save, and to watch your money grow as you build your new empire, leaving legacies that you're proud of. Join Marty, Michelle, and Kornelia Fridays from 1 to 2 on the Kornelia Stephanie Show at Transformation Talk Radio. Are you in? Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Kornelia Stephanie Show, the Millionaire Imprint for Women. I'm so excited for today's show because I have with me Samantha Blossom, our co-host that launched the Millionaire Imprint with us. Welcome, Samantha.
Hi, Kornelia. It's so exciting to be on the show. This is our last show together, so I'm like, woo, all pumped.
It is. It's awesome. But I hate to say it's our last show because I'd love for you to pop in every now and then.
I would love to do that.
Amazing to share because I want to just offer appreciation to you, to be such a pioneer and such a leader on the leading edge of creation here, assisting people with really stepping into their greater human potential and activating their wealth and their money and their bodies and really moving into a higher vibrational way of living. And you have just brought us so many tools and so many gifts that I just want to thank you so much, Samantha, for saying yes and for, coming on and bringing your online presence onto the airwaves. So thank you for that.
Thank you so much, Kornelia, for creating an opening for me. Because I've been doing this for over 12 years and I've been wanting to be able to share this message with more people. And this is just such a great platform and an avenue for that. So I'm super excited.
Awesome. You created this segment today about what it is that you want to talk about. And so I just want to share a little bit of that with the audience. I also want to read your bio again because, I get a lot of information from contact me about the show, and I get a lot of people saying how much they really enjoy Samantha and what it is that Samantha is bringing. So as the shows go live on YouTube and then they go people re-listen to them again on the podcast. Some people they don't know who you are, so I wanted to again. Share your bio with the listeners. So Samantha Blossom is a true pioneer in the world of energy medicine. She has spent several years diving deep into the topic of money and abundance on an energetic level. Her focus has been working with heart-centered entrepreneurs so that they can fully express their soul's purpose while effortlessly attracting and receiving their dream income. Samantha uses the modalities of body talk, Acunect, Karuna, Reiki, EFT, tapping, and several other modalities. She's been highly successful in assisting her clients in breaking free of the financial glass ceiling and stepping into the level of income that they truly deserve. And that's not an easy job because while she was doing that, she is also at the same time releasing the opposite of that energy. And so that becomes the experience, and that's how she's able to share with us, her gifts, the tools and the techniques that she's created. She's got many programs that she's created, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about that. But Samantha sees herself as a soul guide that journeys with you in discovering what money stories that are still holding you back from your true success. Her mission is to bring in the new consciousness of money so that money can be redefined as love and shared between people, between cultures and nations. Once money energy is weaved through the planet as an energy of love, She believes that it's a huge key in raising the vibration of the planet and in awakening humanity to their fullest light potential. And that is quite an amazing bio and intention and mission. And I am so grateful that you are uh, out there on the leading edge, teaching others how they too can embrace their wealth, right? And so today's show is about you wanted to teach us about Kundalini Yoga and how Kundalini Yoga can activate your wealth codes. So why don't you tell us a little bit about more about what Kundalini Yoga is, the meditations that can activate our wealth codes, and let us know a little bit about that modality.
Yeah, so Kundalini Yoga, they call the mother of all yogas, which means, it's from the very beginning of when yoga first was created, and the other yogas kind of take a little tiny piece of Kundalini Yoga and then elaborate on that. And so, money sometimes can become an allergy in your energy field. So sometimes people like the moment they get money in, they're like, how can I spend it? And they may not be conscious of it, but there's a trigger, a charge with money in their field that it doesn't feel comfortable to hold on to it. For some people, even just looking at cash, there is a charge that happens in their energetic field. And so all of this has to do with your Kundalini channels, with your nervous system, with your energy field. And especially for people that do really resonate with this light work, with energy healing, they may vibe at a pretty high frequency. And then the money, if the intention has been used for a low frequency, they may feel very uncomfortable around that frequency and so immediately repel it out of their field. Kundalini Yoga supports us in being super grounded, very embodied. One moment. Okay. Super embodied, grounded, and so that they can really integrate the changes and be able to hold any frequency. That means they can stay super connected to source and high vibing, even when they're in a bar, even when they're in a really, really low space, which then supports them in being able to hold on to money energy a lot longer and also transmute the energy of money as it comes into their field. So one thing that they can do that's easy to just start with is just like get $100 bill. If they can't find 100, get a 20 and keep it on them. Keep it physically on their body, like whether it's in your purse or in your wallet. Just get comfortable with having money in your energy field all the time. And then if you want to go a little bit crazier, you can start to stick it inside of your fridge and in different parts of your bathroom or your room. Like just the more that you have exposure to it, the more that you're seeing it, the more that allergy will start to decrease and it won't be a trigger for you anymore. Eventually seeing it will be like, oh, that's just easy. Like, oh, I can just see that. And so Kundalini Yoga can support us in just speeding up that process of cleaning up that allergy and strengthening our nervous system so that we can radiate that energy field and allow that to come in. The other thing that Kundalini Yoga does is it supports your arc line. And so for women, the arc line runs from one ear to the other and from one nipple to the other. And for men, it's one ear to the other ear. So when we look at those old paintings, we might see when we look at saints, there's like a glow above their head. So that's the arc line. And every single thing that happens in our life is recorded in the arc line. And so oftentimes, if we've had a really tragic story around money, or if we've just had any kind of hurts, they may distort that light field in the arc line. So by practicing the yoga, every kriya the exercise is designed in a specific order. So it takes your energy field through a whole new frequency, a repatterning of your energy field. And the more that we do that, your prana light starts to get activated. So for instance, we may take a meditation and do it for 41 days straight. And that's how long it takes for you to train your life force energy and your prana field to run in a specific way. And when we do that, it also starts to release the old patterns that may be stored in our arc line that might not be supporting them. So sorry, I just keep hearing a door knock.
Oh, okay.
I was like, oh gosh. Anyways, so I have a couple meditations that people can look into. And one is spiritual warrior meditation for prosperity. And the second one is meditation for prosperity too. So, and they could literally just Google Kundalini Yoga prosperity online, and a lot of different things will start to pop up for them. And it's important for people to pick one that's comfortable and easy for them to do, because if they're wanting to do it for 41 days or 90 days, or some people do it for a full year, in order to like really get the benefits of it, it's about the consistency. So it's about committing to the practice, taking time to train their energy field to run in a new way. And I'm sure they're going to start to see the abundance. I've seen clients do certain kriyas like this, and suddenly they're attracting clients left and right. And mainly it's because your energy field becomes so radiant, so bright. You're not having to force someone to come towards you. You're just so radiant. People just authentically see you, and they want to book sessions with you, or they want to work with you, or they want to get your product.
Yeah, and I think part of that also has to do with you know your magnetic field. You're sharpening, you're being the magnet to what it is that you're desiring. So and of course, emotions are magnetic. So if you're feeling, emotionally aligned with the kriya that you're talking about, right? Now you're attracting that same energy to you instead of the lack of it or the poverty of it,
Right,
right?
absolutely. Yes. And it just gives you more available energy in your body. And so then you also have more energy to create or follow through on your dreams, follow through on implementing the things that you need to take care of. So all of those things end up creating more wealth.
Yes, that's beautiful. I love that. So do you have a few mantras now that you want to share with us, or
Yeah. So if they wanted to do meditation for prosperity too, it would be the mantra Har, Har, and there's a hand position with it as well. And so it might be better for them to Google it online. But Har, Har is the creation force. And when we say that over and over again, we're basically claiming that we are the creation force and we can create. And when I've done this meditation, so you'll see your palms will be face down and then palms will be faced up. Over time, what I was beginning to see was, oh, it was all the times that I was meant to receive and I didn't receive, or all the times that I was authentically meant to give, but I thought I didn't have enough, so I didn't give. So it starts to balance and correct that energy field. So then you're giving and receiving more authentically, and it brings you back into balance.
that's great. Yeah, and it's really about balancing the left and right hemispheres of the brain. And it's about, like you said, about giving and receiving, and having that dance happen effortlessly, um, without blocking yourself with old habitual ways that you used to live out or act out, right?
Yes, totally. Yeah. And a lot of people don't receive at the level that they're authentically meant to receive.
Hmm.
And if you're not fully receiving, you don't have enough energy to give. And so it's really important for people to like come into a space, allow themselves to fully receive. If someone wants to give you a gift, fully take it in, because when you're really charged up in that way, then you have more energy to give to others as well.
Right. And I think, like everything that we've taught here over the last few months on the Millionaire Imprint is really about clearing your energetic relationship with wealth, with money, from the root level, from the core level, so that you can have a new story, right? And that's what we've been sharing over the last few months, because really it's the basics. And when you have these basics, then now you'll be able to create wealth on a consistent basis. Like one of the things Samantha was talking about is the consistency. We have to be consistent with the energy that we put out into the world, the frequency that we're emitting, right?
Right.
You have to be consistent with it, and not, like one day be grateful and the next day in not grateful, and then one day grateful and the next day not. And it's this whole push pull kind of thing, so
Right.
we can.
Because the universe is so loving, it's not necessarily hearing good or bad. It's literally just hearing what your inner space is emitting. So whatever you're thinking about and emitting out into the universe like, oh, they want more of that. Let me give them more of that. So when we're in a negative state, the universe like, oh, it feels like they want that. So let me give them more of that. It's just a sound frequency that's being emitted. And so when we do Kundalini yoga over time, it allows us to emit a higher energy frequency. And it's the same as if we were to be fully engaged with life all the time. So, like, let's say you're sending out positive texts to people all the time. You're sending out just like good vibrations to the universe consistently. So, but Kundalini Yoga, as it supports your nervous system, will give you more energy so that you can actually sustain that and be enriching to the planet for a longer period of time. Before I did Kundalini Yoga, it's one after I saw clients, I used to get sometimes I would get kind of tired. I would pretty much feel like, like, I'm tapped out a little bit. And as I started to add it to my practice, it was like I started being able to see 12 clients in a day, which I think is pretty incredible for the level of work that I do. Not many healers can say that. A lot of healers can see maybe 3 to 5 max. But the fact that I would be able to go 12 sessions and still feel fully charged afterwards, I super contribute to Kundalini Yoga. And there was a period of my life when I did it 2 times a day. And I felt like I had to do that because I was in Shanghai and the pollution was ridiculous. And that's what I needed to do to support my body. Everyone's going to be different, of course. But it definitely changes your energetics so that you can stay grounded longer and you can access divine energy a lot faster.
Yeah, it's because you were able to sustain your own energy field, um, keeping it high, no matter what toxic vibrations were coming into your field. You were still able to maintain it and hold it, which is really huge. Which means that if you're able to maintain that vibration and that energy, now the like energies of wealth and creation and abundance and prosperity are able to continuously find you because you're maintaining, you're
Right.
you're staying there. And so it's a wonderful practice. And it's about having a practice and doing a ritual. It's, we love doing rituals. It's like whether we're brushing our teeth or making the bed or lighting a candle, doing our spiritual yoga practice, in a form that sustains us and that pleases us and that makes us feel good, makes us feel loved, is important. So I'm glad that you brought that subject up for us here today.
Yeah, and what is unique about Kundalini Yoga is that we use mantras, we use visualization, we use mudras, we use exercise, we use breath. So you're basically awakening and activating every part of your body all at the same time. And so that creates a very unique effect as well. Which some of the other yogas might just be more physical exercise or might just be more breath. With Kundalini, it's kind of like you're really doing all of it at the same time. And so eventually, a lot of people will start to activate and awaken their spiritual powers as they work through the kriyas as well. And even Mastin Kipp, he says like Kundalini Yoga is like one of the fastest technologies and tools that we can use to awaken our being. And so it's a very unique energy. And sometimes when people first start to do it, they may not feel great, but I would just support them and encourage them to continue with the practice until it feels comfortable. Because every time you're doing the exercise, it's correcting your energy field. And so at first it doesn't feel comfortable, but then later it's going to start to feel very re-energizing.
Yeah, it's the same kind of like when you first start going to the gym or you first start doing a detox from sugar or
Yeah.
whatever. It's like at first it doesn't really feel good, but the key is to stick with it and not give up on it, because you're having to, like you said, change that energy field and changing that vibration. Everything happens energetically first. When I was looking at the show notes, I also got in my inbox a a mantra that has to do with it's so that you can it's for sleep and for
Mhm.
imbalance. So like when you're in insomniac and you can't go to sleep at night, there's a beautiful mantra, so I'm going to say it. It balances, again, both hemisphere, the right and the left. And it brings balance back to the brain. And so at night, when you're asleep, when you're trying to go to sleep and you can't go to sleep, say this: Sa ta na ma.
Yeah.
Sa ta na ma. Sa ta na ma. Say that and watch and see what happens. According to what this email was saying, is that it's going to put you to sleep right away. So I'm not an insomniac. I go to sleep as soon as I hit the pillow. I'm lucky. I'm boom, I'm gone. I'm just like, wow, I love going to sleep. I love being able to go to sleep. But I know that there's a lot of people that struggle with that struggle with sleep and rely on sleep aids. So maybe trying a mantra like that is exactly what they need.
Satanama is one of the most powerful mantras, and it really just talks about birth, release, and it's like the whole cycle of life, which is like generating, organizing, destroying, and then rebirth. And
Wow.
so the thumb, they have kirtan kriya, which is a meditation. So you have the thumb touching the index finger, touching the middle finger, the ring finger, and the pinky finger. And you're saying sa ta na ma, sa ta na ma. And so whenever I'm just walking around anywhere, I'll just chant that to myself, and I'll just have my fingers moving. Sa ta na ma. And I think about myself just blessing the ground that I'm walking on, just re-energizing every space that I'm in. And it's just like a very easy meditation to go to. And then they can look up Kirtan Kriya. There's also a light that you envision flowing into the top of your crown and then flowing out of your third eye. So when people go to Kundalini Yoga teacher training, this is one of the first meditations that we're all given. And we're all supposed to do it for over 41 days and see the results. And it's a very powerful meditation. So I super encourage anyone to try that.
Right, because you are a Kundalini yoga teacher, right? You teach the Kundalini yoga. You also taught it in a physical studio, right?
Right. Hmm.
Right. And
Yeah.
so this is the training that you received.
Yeah, it's incredible to see the level of change that the students go through as they, as they start to like really integrate Kundalini yoga into their practice. Because I think all yogas are amazing, but Kundalini yoga is it's very spiritual. It's kind of like taking your body through an emotional washing machine. It just like squeezes out all of the emotional distress out of your body so that you can be in a clean slate again. So you can like start clear. So at the end of the practice, I always just feel so crystal clear. I feel like, whoa, everything is just like beaming and positive and open. Yeah. And it's a very unique feeling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Kundalini, what is Kundalini? Kundalini is, life force energy. So really being, and then yoga, life force energy, doing yoga, mastering your, or beginning, however you want to call it, your life force energy, and being able to use it for the greater good, for your greater good, for the greater good, uh, you know, is what that practice can help you do. Mastering your life force energy, the Kundalini yoga, right?
Yes, absolutely. So it's this beautiful energy stored at the base of the spine.
Hmm.
And oftentimes during normal everyday stressors, that starts to slow down the flow of Kundalini. So Kundalini energy is meant to flow up the spinal column and into the brain to nourish and nurture the brain. But when we have these stress patterns stored in our nervous system, then that flow doesn't access all the way up into the head space, which then means we're not accessing our magnetic genius. We're not tuning into like our authentic brilliance when we're not getting access to that full life force energy. So when you do the Kundalini yoga practice over time, it's really just releasing all the stress patterns in your body and allowing the authentic flow to come back. Some people have, talked about having a really difficult Kundalini yoga awakening, or like it was very uncomfortable and all these things. By doing Kundalini yoga, you actually just support the natural flow of that Kundalini energy so that you can have a very comfortable awakening with that, instead of having this like traumatic Kundalini yoga awakening or a Kundalini awakening that people talk about. That's actually just your spirit's like, come on, we need you to wake up. And it so fast that it creates pain in your physical body. And but yeah, so my teacher was talking about, he's like, I've been teaching Kundalini yoga for over 40 years. I've never had a single person have a negative Kundalini awakening, you know?
Yeah. I think the reason when people have the spiritual Kundalini awakening is because they've received wake up calls, wake up, wake up, wake up, and ignored it. And now it's like, okay, bam. Now you're like, okay, you know how it's like knock, 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 and you're just kind of ignoring. Now I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready yet. You're ready for your power. You're ready to take that life force. You're ready for this amazing spiritual experience. You signed up for this. It's like, okay, now here you go. And then bam. And I've had some people on the show that have had really painful Kundalini awakening. So when we go to yoga and we practice yoga and we do the yoga, the Kundalini yoga, then you're going willingly and you're developing a beautiful practice for yourself and learning how to do yoga and take really good care of your body and open your centers and learn how to balance that energy. And so it's a wonderful practice. So
I always say spirit whispers until spirit has to yell.
Right, that's so true. It's like, well, because isn't it people are they want change, but then they're not taking the steps that they need in order to really make the change happen. So because really people don't want to be uncomfortable.
Right.
And the spiritual path, that whole path, it's not comfortable.
Right.
And initially, we have to go through that up and down that web and living the surrendered life and letting life have its way with us is not comfortable. It's not comfortable because we don't know how to do it. We don't know how to do it. We're just learning how to do it. We're just learning how to navigate this amazing life force energy and allow our intuitive organic timeline to really present itself so that we can participate in it in a way that supports and sustains the amazing, magnificent beings that we are, right?
Yeah. So I always think about it as like, for people that do know a little bit about chemistry, but it's like a chemical reaction. It takes so much energy before the reaction happens. And so during that time, it's this buildup, it takes like all this energy to make that change. But once someone is like goes through that first hurdle of change, then they realize like how exciting it is, and then they're gonna be ready for the next one. So it's just the first one that's like climbing up the mountain the first time that's like more difficult. But really after that, you're just gonna be like, wow, I'm ready for the next one. I'm ready for the next one, and and then you just become like a soul awakening junkie.
You do, and actually you're just so hungry. You just want it all the time. You're just like so excited about everything that's there to learn and experience, because you truly know that this whole other environment that you are living in isn't something you really believe in and something you really want to be in. You really want this freedom and this love and this beauty and this harmony where you really enjoy. That's really what you signed up for. That's really what you love. But first we have to make peace with the war inside, right?
Right.
What's not in harmony inside. So Samantha, we skipped first break, but we are going to take a second break here. So we're going to take a break on the Kornelia Stephanie Show. I'm with Samantha Blossom and we'll be right back.
My name's Bob Skeel. I'm 91 years old and I want to take a few minutes now to share with you the important role, actually the critical role, Kornelia has played in my life. I say critical because I'm not sure I'd be alive at all to the many possibilities that make up our human experience at my age, if not for her. I could have easily become another dead man walking, only half conscious, stumbling through my remaining years, if it hadn't been for Kornelia. 6 years ago, I lost my wife to Alzheimer's. We'd been married for 61 years. I never thought I'd be a widower, but there I was, suddenly lost and alone, but with the good sense to set a working goal for myself. I was going to spend the rest of my life committed to unconditional love, whatever that meant and wherever that took me. A year or so later, Kornelia came along, helping me over several years to focus that unconditional love where it had never been focused before, on me. My whole life, my entire being had been focused on love of neighbor, and I had derived great satisfaction from that. But in the process, I had ignored the second part. I love your neighbor as yourself. Now it was time to direct that love inward. I didn't see that right away, but Kornelia did, and she drew me there. She drew me actually to God. Through many conversations over coffee and after numerous, sometimes tearful, agonizing discussions, Kornelia was able to lead me, kicking and screaming, to within where I needed to be. It was there finally that I was able to re-identify myself. It was in bringing unconditional love to myself that I now saw myself in a new light, a fully conscious, worthy human being, capable of healing, loving, and creating in my own right all these gifts of the evolutionary process. I'm a new man now, younger as I get older. I don't move as fast as I once did, of course, but my smile is quicker and I engage the heart and mind of others more readily. I would likely not be at such a wonderful stage in my life if not for Kornelia. I owe my new life to her, a wonderful friend and a constant source of inspiration. Thank you, Kornelia.
We're back on the Kornelia Stephanie Show, and I'm with Samantha, and we were talking about having a strong spiritual practice, how important that is, and Kundalini Yoga and kriyas and mantras of how to shift your energy field. And I created a course that's called The Keeper of the Garden. And I want to tell you about how amazing this course is that's going to assist you to be able to move into peace, to be part of the solution and bring your body to peace and keep that's going to support your life and your community. Over 21 days, you will be shifting your paradigm so that you don't need to take your karmic past into the future with you. With your willingness and the guidance of this course, you will be identifying and releasing anything from your life that holds you back, any negative emotions such as anger, resentment, sadness, shame that keeps you from living in peace and joy. Every day of the 21 days begins with expressions of gratitude, all from the comfort of your own home. You are the keeper of the garden, the inner garden that's created by you. This experience will change your life, and you will be amazed at how wonderful you will feel, making peace with your peace. Through this 21-day audio process, you will first pull some old weeds, negative thoughts, beliefs, emotions, clearing away the brush from the old world. Soon you will see the most beautiful garden blooming from the inside out, your body feeling vital. You are rewriting the story of your life, and you know that your life and the environment that you create is based on the energy that you bring to it. And with this 21-day audio course, you're going to be able to do that for $21 for $1 a day. So you can get this course on my website at korneliastephanie.com. There's a tab that says Keeper of the Garden. Purchase this for yourself. And also, if you're a CEO of a company and you're listening to this, get this course for your employees, for your family members, for anyone that is wanting to develop and cultivate a deep inner peace. Because like we were talking about earlier, it is that peace that you're bringing, that frequency that you're emitting and that you're putting out in the world. And for $1 a day, it's well worth the 10 minutes that it's going to take to really support you to build that foundation. So Samantha, tell us now about how we can move into getting that big cash, being on our soul's purpose.
I love everything that you just said about your offer. That sounds amazing. And that's part of it, is just when we can manage our own vibration, when we can create joy from within, which for a lot of us, that's us being on our soul purpose. Because our soul purpose is the most joyful thing that we can experience. That's us stepping into taking risks and creating bigger impact, meeting people, talking to people that we normally wouldn't get to, and like learning big time, learning whether that's information or energy or just embodying something totally different. It's an experience. And when we step into the soul purpose, it's up, it's down, but it's so exciting. There's so much joy in it. It's like the ultimate roller coaster. And so whether you're going through a challenge or you're having an exciting time, all of it is you emitting joy. And when you're emitting that level of joy, like the universe can only be supporting you and only be giving you a ton of cash. I remember going through a really difficult time with my coach, like, because he's digging through old stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, this is so uncomfortable. And it was just like that masculine piece that needed to come out, and I was like wanting to fight it. I'm like, I don't want to be that. And I felt so uncomfortable that whole night. And yet the next day I made $2,000. So, like in like 15 minutes. Like, so I know that, like, even though when you're on your soul purpose, even if you're having a struggle or you're going through a challenge, like if you're moving in the right direction, you're still going to be rewarded from the universe. And so that's why I say being on your soul purpose is the fastest way to cash. And awakening doesn't always feel amazing. Sometimes it feels really painful and jolting, but really when we go even deeper to that, we're going to feel like, oh, it's actually exhilarating. It's actually very exciting. It's like it's breaking through your old pain patterns. It's breaking through those limiting beliefs, those like invisible handcuffs that we've put on ourselves, like, oh, I can do this but I can't do that. I can say this but I can't do that. I can experience this but not that. Like, as all of that is breaking through, it can be a very uncomfortable process, but it's so worth it.
Yeah,
It-
and I mean, it's like you've said in the previous shows, you've done a lot of segments where you were doing clearing, and you were talking about our ancestral lineage, where we were born into, and being able to heal the shame of you know how we were raised and how we were brought up, and part of that had to do with some of those limiting beliefs that were instilled in us all between the age between when we were so open and vulnerable, between 0 and 7 years old, when we were really just absorbing everything in. And there may have been beliefs that were installed during that time that 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 you don't resonate with anymore, and that's the stuff that has to fall away. That's the construct, that's the mental belief that has to fall away, like money is the root of all evil, or I don't deserve to have a lot of money, or I'm not, it doesn't happen for me. It doesn't happen for me. It only happens for other people. Or I never have it. I never get it. I never can keep it. I'm always running out. These are these are all negative, limiting, subconscious beliefs, thoughts that we've thought over and over and over again, and that are keeping us from vibrating at that level of joy, of being able to receive the abundance and the cash, the level of financial freedom that we deserve and want to live in.
yeah, and there's also a addiction to suffering that actually happens. And it's so interesting because just the other day I had a client, and she was saying, she's like, I'm not living paycheck to paycheck anymore, and it feels so weird. And she's like, I'm actually making like more than enough to pay the bills, and I've never had that experience before. So it's like it's so weird. I don't know how to feel. um and that's sometimes what will happen, is like, oh, you get a big break and things are working really well, but your energy field wasn't totally corrected, so then you're going to go back to that old pattern of, oh gosh, I got to spend everything, so I stay in the struggle. And that's why I say it's an addiction to struggle, and that happens. And that's why Kundalini Yoga is so powerful. It's something that you can do on your own. Of course, having body talk sessions or energy healing sessions is really going to support that shift as well. But Kundalini Yoga is great because it's something you can do on your own.
And you're offering free consults, Samantha. So let the audience know where they can get in touch with you.
Yeah, so my website is samanthablossom.com, and they can either email me, love@samanthablossom.com, or they can sign up directly for a free discovery coach online. And if all those slots are taken, they can just email me and let me know of a time that maybe works for them. And I would love to just get to know more people and connect with them and see if there's anything that I can do to support them on their journey.
Yeah. And, I know that there's many people that have benefited from the work that you've done with them, and their life has changed and their trajectory has changed, and the results are different than the results that they experienced before they contacted you. So I really encourage you all to take Samantha up on this. While she's offering these free consults for free, because whenever you're listening to this message, whether you're listening to this now on 12, what's today, the 14th, or you're listening to it in a month from now, you're still going to be able to benefit from this offer. So be sure to take her up on it, and be sure to take me up on the Keeper of the Garden. Become the Keeper of the Garden, your own inner garden, rewriting the story of your life, so that you can set up your life, your blueprint, according to how you see it. And that's what the Keeper of the Garden is designed to do. And also stay in touch with me and get on my mailing list, because there's always many tools and content and free tips that are shared there. You can text the number 22828 to Kornelia. Text 22828 to Kornelia. I just love how easy that is, now, doing this, instead of, go to my website and sign up on the thing. And anybody that does that will receive a free copy of my ebook, Healing Your Relationship with Money. So you can see that we are all about offering our gifts and our tools and everything to support you, because we're all part of the greater whole, and we work for the common good, and we really want to see everybody thrive. Isn't that the case?
Yes, absolutely. And yeah, and for sure, our intention field, as we've created, this audio or this video, like anytime people watch it throughout, however long in the future, this is the intention of it, is to support them and to boost them into their next level of wealth and abundance, and to get that activated.
Absolutely. That's so great. So we have a few minutes left, Samantha. Now, how do you want to? What do you want to talk about um, in the last segment? How to listen to your unique truth that brings you greater wealth.
Yeah, I feel like this is a really important topic, because especially as we're stepping into this new age with lots of coaches and lots of healers and lots of, just new information, and maybe even like spiritual gurus that people could be, going to seek out, because everyone's wanting that deeper connection with the divine internally. And it's important to know that we all have the divine blueprint inside of us, which means each one of our truth, it's very unique to us. And when we try to follow the instructions of someone else completely, like that may take us off track. So it's great to observe someone and then get inspiration from them and then make it your own. But I'm just, making sure people don't just take something and just follow it and don't make it their own, because making it your own, that's when you step into your mastery, and that's when you can step into that creation energy. So for instance, from my perspective, a lot of religions, aren't quite as successful, because it's saying this is one paradigm for everybody. Now everybody follow these steps and this is going to be your path. And that's just not the way it's designed. We are each unique puzzle pieces to the bigger whole. And so it's important for us to really find our unique soul vibration. So for instance, if I'm saying, hey, do Kundalini Yoga, and they're like, oh my God, this is making me feel horrible, then maybe this one isn't your path, and that's okay. I would try it a little bit longer, because maybe you're going through a breakthrough or a detox, but if it still doesn't work, then this may not be your tool. So it's like everyone has the tool that's authentic and right for them, and that's going to bring them joy. So for some people it's journaling, like for me journaling is so big and it really tunes me into the cosmos. But maybe for someone else that's singing or music, and for someone else that might be art and painting, and for another person that might be like jogging and being out in the forest. So it's really important that we try out the new tools, but then in the end we have to decide which tool is authentic for us and what really gets us to that higher vibration.
Yeah. And I can really relate to that as far as, because this is part of the not part of the work that I do is I help people move into their own authority. That's my work, is that I assist people in moving to their own authority so that they can trust themselves. And part of the reason why I do that is because I had to do that for myself, right? And I found that out with where giving my power away to outside sources, um, just one by one reclaimed all that power back and really discovered to look and see what is really true for me. And it was really during a painful time when I did have a spiritual guru. And
Mm.
that was really interesting because that was in 2013. And I was teaching classes in my spiritual community, and I was teaching classes on what I'm an expert in, and I am an expert in emotional processing because that's the signature course that I developed. And so while I was teaching the classes, my spiritual guru came then and was auditing one of my classes, and she said, you did this and this correct, but you didn't do this and this correct. And it was really interesting when she said that because I said, according to who?
Mm.
According to who? And that is the first time that I heard myself say to my spiritual guru, because she was trying to tell me about something that I'm an expert in over my years of experience with what I've just developed and experienced. And I know it from the inside out. Doesn't mean that I'm not open to other people's feedback. It's just that I know this. I know this work. I know this. And when she said, you didn't do this correctly, that's when I claimed my power back and speaking my voice to my spiritual guru and said, according to who? Because according to me, this feels correct. And that was really the beginning of claiming my power back from, like you said, you brought it up, from the gurus, the people that exert power over us and try to tell us, how it should be,
Right.
how it should be. Yeah.
It's so important because I live in Washington State, so I'm just using the example of going to California. It's like you can drive down there, you can fly down there, there's several different flights that you can take down there. There's different pathways of how you can drive there. And when we take time to just listen to, well, what's most joyous for me, which path is actually most joyous for me, we're going to have a way different experience getting there. And it's all about how we get there. It's not about that end goal. Of course the end goal is beautiful as well, but the path is very important too. And so just like you said with that, it's like this emotional process and you've been doing it all this time, and it works, and she's observing it in a way that she's used to, and it didn't, something was off for her, but that's just how she's teaching it. And the people that are meant to work with her will resonate with her work, whereas the people that are meant to work with you will resonate with your work.
The,
And so,
the thing about it is, though, Samantha, is that she wasn't teaching it. This is the other thing. She wasn't teaching it. See, because I came to the community to teach this work because no one was teaching it. So now I come in to teach it. So she could have taught the course herself, but she wasn't teaching it. I came in to teach it. It's just kind of almost like when somebody's playing a song, singing a song and being the artist of the song, and being the artist of the song, and you're going to tell them you did this right, but you didn't do this right. No, the person is singing the song, orchestrating the song, playing the song, according to their unique piece, according to their unique blueprint. So that's the place. That's
Right.
really the place, right?
Yeah, and that's so big because each person has their unique melody, their unique voice, their like so much. It's just like so much of us that's still so bottled and contained that isn't expressed outward. And when we can just take time to be like, okay, what's true for me? Like, who am I authentically? And when we can just express that on all levels, that's us gifting the world our energy. And by like the law of reciprocity, as we give, we're going to receive. And it's about the quality that we're giving, the quality of authenticity that we're sharing out into the planet. Then that energy gets to funnel back to us.
Yeah, yeah. This is just such a powerful um, journey that we're on. And it is a journey. It's a journey to know that we each have our own unique gift to add to the whole. And if every single person on the planet learned how to go inside to know that what they have to offer, what they have to contribute, their voice, their wisdom, their passion about what is it that's going to make the world a better place? What is that piece? What is that piece? Then the piece that you bring, the piece that you bring, the piece that you bring, and the piece that is enough. And it all contributes to the greater whole. It's that when we don't trust that voice, when we don't listen to ourselves, when we look for someone else's approval or someone else to tell us how to do it, right? That's the place. So I think what you're saying, Samantha, is really, move into your Kundalini Yoga, become a master with your life force energy, and discover what your own unique truth is, your own unique call, and that is to align with your purpose and sing your song, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's just so many places in life that were shut down from that. Like, let's just say a little kid in school is running around and it's like, don't run around. You need to sit down. You need to be quiet and contained. And there's so much like spontaneity and wildness within us that's just like it's never been fully cultivated. And there's no space for it to be cultivated. So now we have to, take some time to like explore that within ourselves.
Yeah, yeah. And I think,
And I
really,
know that
go ahead.
And I know that when we activate that, there's a powerful energy that flows through us. It's by us claiming our space, claiming our body, saying yes to whatever reality that we want to create. And the universe will support us in that.
Yeah, and I think the main message with everything that we talked about here today is, again, peace is an inside job, abundance is an inside job, wealth is an inside job, the world is an inside job. It's the frequency that we are emitting in our field that we're putting out, that now this is the frequency we're putting out, and now like energies will be drawn to you based on the frequency that you're putting out.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
that's why it's so important to do that inner work, and get really good, get your vibration to feeling really good about who you are, your body, who you
Yes.
are.
Find a Kundalini yoga studio or, just grab a Kundalini yoga DVD, grab some friends and do it together. It's so powerful. It's so magical.
Take Samantha up on her offer at how do they get in contact with you again?
Yep, they can email me love@samanthablossom.com or they can go to samanthablossom.com and book a free soul discovery session.
Yay. And go to KorneliaStephanie.com and get the Keeper of the Garden course. The goal is to sell 1 million copies of that course, because $1 million will be donated to our favorite children's charity. And that's the goal. So if you want to support children's foundations and children's charities, you want to support your own peace mission, your own peace drive, then there's a course that's available for you that's $1 a day, $21. And together we're going to, for the first time ever in the history of this planet, have peace on earth. And that is my mission. That's what I'm dedicated and committed to, is to experience that. But we know it all starts from within first. So Samantha, you are always welcome on the Millionaire Imprint for Women. And thank you so much for being here and sharing that great wisdom with us. Thank you everybody for listening and for tuning in, and we'll see you again next time.
Thanks so much for being part of Creating Wealth for All Women. Every Friday, you benefit from the experience of women who share their financial wisdom. This movement is not about accumulating wealth. It's about being paid doing what we love, being able to invest in the things women are passionate about. Our new collective story is women are powerful with money. Becoming financially literate is the key to your empowerment and financial freedom. For more information, go to KorneliaStephanie.com.